So, I saw Materialists a couple days ago. The new movie is writer, director, and producer Celine Song's sophomore film, following Lucy, played by Dakota Johnson, a New York City matchmaker, and her two love interests, poor ex-boyfriend John, played by Chris Evans, and the rich and exciting Harry, played by Pedro Pascal. Now, I really love this film, and it really resonated with me. It takes a biting look at modern-day dating and the worth we assign to people. Song's writing and direction is so poignant and beautiful. The grainy film look is a feast for the eyes. The editing pays so much attention to detail in ways that really enhance the whole movie-going experience. And the acting by all three leads is incredible, with Chris Evans especially standing out. All this to say, this is one of my top films of 2025 so far. However, in the time between seeing the film to now, I've witnessed overwhelming criticism for the film online. Over and over again, I'm being told that Lucy picked the wrong guy, there was a disturbing, useless plotline, it wasn't funny, Evan's character shows no growth, etc. And to that I say, well, Jesus Christ, where has our media literacy gone? Now, I think part of this problem is the way the film was marketed. For months, my For You page has been flooded with promotion for this film that made it seem like it would be your traditional New York City love triangle rom-com. And, well, this film definitely isn't that. Instead, it's a story with so much more depth and relevance, and I think people going to see it are failing to manage and adjust their expectations. At the heart of it, Materialists is a story about the value we assign to people, and the marketing for the film, while it may have catfished people to be excited for a story that isn't told, does help demonstrate the central theme. By marketing the film as a rom-com, created to divide its audience into Team Pedro versus Team Chris, it is having you do the math that Lucy, as a matchmaker, does throughout the film. In these terms, there is a clear winner. The rich man who is kind, attractive, doting, and has it all together. Especially when compared to the 37-year-old ex-boyfriend who is a cater waiter / actor. But Song forces us to look beyond the statistics and figures that we, like Lucy, were quick to assess and assign value to, revealing the rich humanity behind these characters and the people we may encounter in our own lives. Now, I'm going to get into spoilers, so this is your warning. Like I said before, the theme of this film is worth and value. Our introduction to this is through Lucy's clients, who give her impossible requirements for the future spouse she is meant to find them. Having evaluated their own self-worth, they feel entitled to these dream partners. And, as a matchmaker, Lucy has gotten good at quickly ascertaining and assigning value to the people she works with, i.e., he has a good salary and she's beautiful, so they will be good together. She does this with Pedro's character, deciding he's a 10 out of 10, mostly because of his literal monetary worth. In contrast, she also determines that she herself is not worth as much, and is therefore unfit to be his partner. An idea that both undermines her own self-worth while minimizing Pedro to just his monetary assets. These value assessments prevent both characters from truly opening up to each other, creating a relationship that appears perfect, stable, valuable even, but that is ultimately hollow. In contrast, Lucy and John previously broke up despite being in love because he was poor and could not afford to provide Lucy with the lifestyle she wanted. She projects the disdain she feels for herself and her materialistic desires onto John and can't imagine how he can still love her despite the ugly side of herself that she has unwittingly allowed him to see. Upon re-entering each other's lives, John is financially still in the same position he was in when they first broke up. However, because of her experience with Pedro's character, Lucy is able to acknowledge her love for John and place value on that love and not money. Narratively, John doesn't have to evolve because he is constant in his love for Lucy, while she learned that placing value on money doesn't necessarily guarantee love. Song hits this idea of the harms of faulty value placement home with the controversial SA subplot. At first I was confused about its place in this film, but over time the meaning became clear to me. Basically, one of Lucy's clients is SA'd by a date that Lucy sets her up on. As the story plays out and we watch Lucy struggle with her part in these events, it becomes clear that Song is warning about value assignments in all relationships, not just romantic ones. Without even thinking about it, Lucy arbitrarily devalues her client and overvalues the assaulter, using statistics that seem to encompass each of them. However, doing so, she misses the true value of her client as a good person who deserves love and safety, as well as the evilness of the man that she sets her client up with. Altogether, these elements of the story unite to highlight the value system that makes modern dating so uniquely difficult and that eliminates the reality of who people truly are. But upon realizing Materialists isn't the rom-com they've built it up to be in their heads based off of the marketing, people are walking out of theaters, complaining online, and discouraging others from viewing the film. And in doing so, they're doing exactly what the film is warning against, which is disregarding something based off of passive external judgments, which prevent you from seeing the real value and beauty at the core of the film. So, while yes, the marketing was misleading, by giving the film a chance, you realize that the marketing technique plays into the overall message of the story. But apparently, this level of media literacy is too much to ask from people nowadays. Instead, I hope to encourage you to set your expectations aside and think critically about the decisions that have been made in this film and its marketing strategy, and what that tells you about your own value system. Thanks for watching.